Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pop culture, social media, TV. I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on Twitter I go as PD Beats. Before we go, because my guest is also Canadian from Toronto. Hockey's very important to us growing up, and I just wanted to. It's been a week, but I just wanted to say that thoughts and prayers about the Humboldt Broncos in the SJHL. I mean, it's unbelievable on social media seeing all of the support. It's just a horrible tragedy, and I just wanted to just pay my respects. And if you have not donated already, please go and donate. It's all over social media, the GoFundMe, so continue to do that. So my guest this afternoon is a actress on a show on Nickelodeon called Star Falls. We're with Elena V.Wolfe. Elena, welcome to Popternative.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. I can see the snow in the back, and as
I know. It's
April, but we're getting snow, so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy.
So first off, 2 weeks ago, Star Falls, around 2 week's ago, premiered on Nickelodeon. Congrats on that.
Thank you. It's so exciting.
For the people that don't know about it, can you give us a little bit of a synopsis and talk a little bit about your character?
Yeah, sure. It's on Nickelodeon, so it's a kids show. So adult viewers, I'm not so sure the adult viewers, unless they have kids, are going to be familiar with it. But it's basically about a small town girl and her mom. I'm the mom. I play Beth Miller, and my daughter, Sophia Miller, who finds out that the celebrity movie star is moving into their small town with his 3 kids, and she knows that her mom has a huge crush on him. So she kind of does this parent trap thing where she attempts to get her mom and this movie star to fall in love. And in doing so, she befriends his kids. So he has 3 kids, and somewhere towards the end of the first episode, they all kind of agree to the scheme, and that's basically the first season, is trying to get their parents together. That's I guess that's it. Yeah, kind of a fun little premise.
Nickelodeon has a terrific track record of producing amazing family fun sitcoms. In your opinion, what makes a fun family-oriented sitcom?
Oh my God, that's such a good question. You know what? For me, I think it comes down to the writing that is relatable both for the parents that are watching with their kids and then the kids, of course. That's the one thing that I kind of found interesting about this show was when I was reading the script, I was kind of hanging out on set with the moms from the kid actors, and we were all laughing. Even the mom's like, "Oh my God, this is so funny!" We're gonna just watch the show too. So I think that's kind of one of the things that Nickelodeon is pretty good at. Obviously, there are shows that really are just kind of just for the kids, but I think the shows that excel are the ones that appeal to a broad range of ages. Yeah. So I think that would probably be my answer.
You're a Canadian actress, and yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Brooklyn shirt. I just realized.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, no, maybe I'm not. But my point is, you've been on a lot of Canadian shows as well, like Defiance in the past.
Yeah.
What do you think about the current state of TV in Canada?
Oh my gosh, I'm always back and forth about it. I spent a lot of my time in Los Angeles, and there's just so many Canadians down there. And then I get really sad because I wonder why they're trying to do everything in LA. It's almost like we're losing a lot of our talent from Toronto, to the Americans. But that's not to say it's a good or bad thing when you look at how much stuff is being filmed up here. And I think that's one of the reasons why, most of our cast is Canadian, and the reason we got awarded this opportunity was because, if an American production is going to come up here and film, they have to hire Canadian talent. So it works really well for the actors still chilling in Toronto. as far as I know, lots of things are filming. More actors are getting work, which is great. You know, I don't know if I can speak to on the production end of things.
Saying we had, you know, Fred Awanik from Corner Gas Animated on the show a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about yeah, no, it's just a lot of shows get kind of a cult following. Corner Gas is a Canadian show that had a little bit of a cult following in certain areas in the States as well. So my question to you is, what do you think about those kind of, because there's a lot of shows, like for example, like Star Falls it's a Toronto production, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so another show, so Life with Derek, which was like one of my shows growing up, was on Disney Channel. Not a lot of people realize that's like a Canadian production. Like they're in London, Ontario, and it's awesome. So what do you think about these kind of Canadian shows kind of coming in and kind of I don't know, like pretending, like I don't know, because you don't know. Some people maybe don't know that it's a Canadian show.
No, at all. They do a really good job masking it. Like, for example, because the family that moves into our house, I should have mentioned this part. Part of the scheme that ends up happening is by the end, my hair is going crazy. By the end of the first episode, my daughter has essentially forced this celebrity and his 3 kids from Los Angeles to move into our house. And so what the production team did a really good job at was making their LA lifestyle look like Los Angeles. So we're in Port Hope filming on Lake Ontario, and you would never say, like, they're supposed to be in Malibu. I would have said they were in Malibu. Like, I don't know, like the magic of movie making, you know, the way that they do these things. And some of the biggest movies, like I think even like parts of Harry Potter were shot in Toronto. I mean, it's crazy. You would never know.
See, this is why I started the podcast. Everyone asks me why I started the podcast. I want to talk to, you know, storytellers like yourselves and kind of get the behind the scenes scoop that you won't get anywhere else. Port Hope, dressed up like Malibu. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Just 2 hours, you know, drive down the QEW. For those of you who don't know, it's like the 401. One of 2 highways in Ontario, basically.
Do you see yourself as, because you mentioned in the beginning when I was talking to you about the state of, you know, Canadian TV and film, you know, you mentioned a lot of Canadians going down to LA. Do you still kind of see yourself representing Canada when you're down there, or is it kind of like you don't really think about that much? Well, you are wearing a Brooklyn shirt, so I don't know.
A lot of my shopping in Los Angeles. So I don't know if that disqualifies me, but I love saying that I'm from Canada down there. I think it's a bonus because for some reason it gives people a bit more of a feeling like they can approach you. I don't know what it is. It's like it's like a humbling thing. That's why we get made fun of a lot, I think, because we're just like, so, hey, we're from Canada. And everyone, oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, and we're too polite. I just went on a podcast and I was told that I'm like one of the nicest guys that's ever come on a show. And he's like, I guess it's because you're Canadian. And I'm like, haha, like very funny.
So I definitely use that. And I think actually, you know, going back to one of your previous questions, I think it helps for people to know because they are, you know, producers are looking to film up in Canada.
Yep.
And knowing that you're Canadian, it automatically like triggers something.
So Star Falls on Nickelodeon, what do you hope people get out of it? And are there any like similarities or comparisons that you could make from the show? Like whether it's a sitcom, what like the concept? I mean, I really love the concept. Reading about it, I think it's a really cool concept. So yeah, are there any like comparisons?
Yeah. Okay. Yes and no. I remember being told that it was going to be at first, like when we first got the role, I first got the role and I met with the creator and he was like, it's kind of like Gilmore Girls. And I was like, okay, cool. And then like I realized there's like 5 other kids involved. So I'm like, well, that's not Gilmore Girls. And then they said, well, it's kind of like Parent Trap, the movie. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, well, you know what? It's kind of like Modern Family. And that's the one thing that I would say is probably the most accurate because like we all get kind of equal screen time, which is cool. Like it's not just centered on the kids. Even though it is their show, it's like the parents always have a storyline and my dad, their grandfather has his own storyline and like it all kind of it's kind of cool that way. And I think Modern Family does, a good job at spreading out the storylines. But like at the same time, the one thing about the show that I think is like really interesting is that there's no laugh track. So, you don't have those moments of laughter where you would expect the laughter. And so what we've had to do is we've had to like basically up our level of performance. So it's kind of like a cross between like theater performing, like going big, and television acting. Like it was a very new thing for me. So in that sense, I don't think there's anything really out there like that. Like I don't think Nickelodeon has had many live action scripted shows that feel kind of like a modern, like a single cam, type Modern Family. So
I that's a good comparison. Modern Family, like I saw trailers of it, so it kind of that aspect. Yeah. Social media is really, really big in terms of big component in terms of fans are very they can be very, persuasive on social media. They're very vocal about what they love. And I just wanted your opinion, like on a little bit of a case study. I mean, there's a show on Netflix. There was a coming of age show that they were comparing to like Freaks and Geeks called Everything Sucks. And it got canceled. They're not renewing it. And the social media backlash was insane, like the amount of people. So my question is, are we in a state of age? Do you think we're in a state of age where like social media can save shows?
I think yes. I mean, I don't know. Do we know what happened with Everything Sucks yet?
They announced that they were canceling it.
Yeah, and like then the hashtag came out. Like I follow a bunch of those kids on Instagram, and that hashtag Renew Everything Sucks was everywhere. Like,
because I enjoyed it. It was a very good show. It's a nice, fun little show. I like the '90s component, and I'm just curious. And you see, I think was it like Mindy Kaling's show.
Mindy Project. Yeah, that's a good example of like of what you're talking about, because I love that show. I loved Mindy Project, and I think Fox dropped it, and then Hulu picked it right back up after people were like, okay, like we want this. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good way to look at it. Like that's where everyone's opinions are coming through now. Social media is where you get to really understand what your viewer wants. I think it's just a matter of like, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. Like they're looking at their ratings. Are ratings as important as comments on Instagram now? I don't know, because comments on Instagram, for example, they're not going to get you the advertising space. Like if the viewership isn't there on the actual platform.
100%. See, I'm no expert on this by any means, but just what I see is, okay, for example, the Roseanne reboot did a fantastic amount of... It did a lot of hit. It did a lot of views, right? Like the first episode did like over 11 million viewers, which is insane. And they got renewed because of that. But what if there's some shows that, the first 2 episodes did very well, but then the rest of it is kind of... Like, I mean, do you not remember, like, Vinyl was a show on HBO that got renewed, but then they canceled it because HBO was going through some changes up top with the management and CEOs and everything, and they just probably looked at the viewers and looked at how much it cost to make that show and didn't want to do it. I just find that interesting. Like, I want to get educated in, like, okay, this show didn't do well. I liked it, but apparently other people didn't like it, so it's not being renewed.
Yeah, I honestly, like, and I'm not an expert at this either, but I do know a bit, and I know that numbers are really important. Like, I have a friend who works as an analyst, like he's programming, he's head of programming at Disney now. He was head of programming at Nickelodeon for like 20 years.
Very cool.
And he just texted me, he's like, ratings are out, like that's all he talks about. He's like, ratings are out. This and this did well. This and this did bad. Well, it's Easter weekend, so then like all these things. There's nothing. He didn't mention one thing about the show.
Oh man,
numbers.
But those are like, they're like he's not allowed to like tweet those out, obviously.
No.
But I would I would follow that count. Like I would like love to see that. Like if he was able to like tweet it out. But yeah. It's crazy.
It's tough. It's just business. It's just business. It really is. And then sometimes it's just a matter of the state of mind of like one executive being like, I didn't like it. and then it's gone. And that's all. It gets so unpredictable. But I do believe that if you've got millions of people trying to get something back on the air, the chances of it being renewed or chances of those voices being heard are definitely strong.
No, 100%. It's such an interesting, it's so interesting. And, I'm saying right now, Star Falls, I hope they renew it. And I'm sure you hope so too. But, Lena, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate chatting with you. It was fun. It's always fun to talk to a fellow Canadian doing really big things. So congrats on that. Plug away. Where can people watch Star Falls? Where can they follow you on social media? Plug away. It's your time.
I have just deleted Twitter, but my castmates are telling me to add myself back on Twitter literally right now.
Okay.
They're texting me. They're like, why did you delete Twitter?
Why did you delete Twitter? I want to know. Are you allowed to disclose it?
Social media gives me a little bit of like I'm not doing well in my life. Like I feel like if I'm not doing social media, I'm not doing life. And so I thought I'd have to I could follow Instagram's good. So you can follow me on Instagram, E.V.Wolfe. I got to get better at it. And then maybe if I get Twitter again, I'll put it in my handle and then it'll be like, Twitter's up. And then you can follow me on Twitter.
And what time can people watch Star Falls?
Well, not in Canada yet, but you can watch Star Falls in America on Nickelodeon tonight, Saturdays at 9, 8 Central.
And I think YTV is going to be putting Star Falls on. Is that confirmed?
Confirmed. We don't know when, but definitely confirmed.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, and all the best. Well, this has been Popternative. You can catch previous episodes of Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. If you don't want to see my face, I mean, you might want to see Lena's face because... she's an actress and she's on cool shows. But if you don't want to see my face, you just want to hear my voice, audio only episodes on iTunes, Spotify, all that. We're everywhere. So it's pretty cool, and that the podcast community has accepted us, and we're everywhere. So thank you for that. Facebook.com/Popternative, Popternative.com. Until next time, this is Elena V.Wolfe and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.